Right, today I'm going to put an IPS kit into this Game Boy. This is for a friend. He asked me to do this for him, so I'm going to be using. Where is it? Well, it's in pieces, but it's basically, if you're watching this video, you probably already know about it. It's the Funnyplaying IPS kit. I'm missing. There it is. That's basically the full kit there. Screen, ribbon, plastic 3D. No, they're not 3D printed, are they? No, they're not. Plastic spacers so you can get the screen, centered, because that's kind of important. We'll get this out of the way. I've gone ahead and done most of the preparation. I took the screws out, the shell's cleaned, everything that's pretty self-explanatory really. I've just gone ahead and done beforehand, just so this video doesn't go on for like 3 hours or however long this is going to take. I don't know, probably going to take a while though. Right, so I'll take the back off. I don't know why I'm looking at the back. I've already sorted that out. Take the buttons out. I think these are aftermarket buttons. Yeah, they are. Yeah, these are aftermarket buttons, which I don't really like very much. They kind of need to be like filed down, otherwise they get like jammed when you press them and stuff, and it's just a pain in the arse. I'd rather just use some OEM buttons, which I happen to have right here, conveniently. Could do with a bit of a clean. They're looking a bit grubby, but I guess I could clean them up. Actually, I wonder how close can I get to this camera? I've not actually tested this camera very well. I can get pretty close to them, like. Yeah. Yeah, looking a bit grubby. Actually, I might as well go ahead and see if I can do something with them while I'm here. All I'm doing here is just cotton swab, Q-tip, whatever you call it, with a bit of alcohol on the end of it. I'm just going to see if I can clean up these buttons a little bit. See what comes off of me. See what kind of finger chutney we can get off of these buttons. Ugh. It's not too bad, I suppose. Definitely seen worse. Yeah, so it wouldn't hurt to give these a bit of a clean. It's not too bad. I feel better now, at least, knowing that they're somewhat clean. Right. Yeah, I've gone ahead and I've took the screen out and whatnot. It's all pretty self-explanatory. It's all clean. I've also gone ahead and trimmed the shell down, because this is an OEM shell, so normally when you buy an IPS kit you get the option of getting a pre-cut shell for like, I don't know, it's like an extra $5 or something. You get a shell that's pre-cut, so you don't have to do all this. But I don't have a pre-cut shell for this kit, so I've just gone ahead and used an OEM shell. Plus, my friend who I'm making this for asked for a purple shell, or indigo, or whatever colour you want to call it. Yeah, he asked for this shell specifically. So I went ahead and did this off camera. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. I don't know how centered the screen is going to be, because I know it's got to be pressed up against this right side quite hard for it to be centered. But we'll see what happens once we get it together. Hopefully it'll be centered. Hopefully. Hopefully, he says reluctantly. Right, it would be nice if I had a bit of space to put things. Let's get these out of the way. Desk is a bit of a mess right now. Take all of this off. Get the buttons out. Okay. First things first. Honestly, I don't even know where to start with this. I've done loads of these kits, but now that I'm doing it on camera, I'm kind of like, brain fart time. It's like brain fart moment. I don't really know what to do first. I guess I could go ahead and stick this down. Work out which way it goes first. I think it goes this way, like that. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing it goes like that. It looks like it does because the inside of the shell there, it kind of curves in a little bit here. And I think that corresponds to like this curve here. I'm not sure what these notches are, yeah. I mean, does it? Oh yeah, it corresponds with those. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so stick this down. I want the other side off first. You're gonna be like this, aren't you? There we go. There we go. Now, when I come to stick the screen down, I'm not actually gonna take all of this off because once you take this off and you put the screen on, the screen's on. You're not gonna get the screen off once this is on. And if I don't get it lined up properly, then I'm kind of screwed. I don't know if this is lined up properly or not. I guess it is. It looks like it is. Huh. Yeah. I think that looks good. Go ahead and press that into place. I mean, once the screen's actually lined up properly, once I get the screen lined up properly, then I might consider sticking it down permanently because, well, once it's lined up, you're not really going to want to take it out again. And it does help to create that airtight seal to stop dust from getting in and things like that. Push this out. Yes, I can. Yeah, that looks good. That is good enough for me. These bits here as well, I like to keep these because they can be used for, other things. Sticking things down. You can just cut it to whatever shape you need. So I'll save that. Right, so where's the screen? It's buried under everything else. Okay. So I'll just go ahead and line this up first. Now, my experience with these, I always find that the small one that goes on the left side here is fine. But I always find that this piece ends up pushing the screen too high and it looks off when it's all assembled and you've got the lens on the front. It doesn't really look centered. It looks like it's too high. So I usually find I have to go back in and lower the screen a bit, which usually means like filing this thing down. or trimming it down with a knife, or however you want to do it. But I mean, you know, these are they're never the same size, no matter which, you know, how many kits you buy. They're always going to be slightly different sized. So all I can do really is just put it in and hope for the best, I guess. Like this one, for instance, this fits in with space to spare. So I've had ones that go in and they're like super tight. You know, you've got to press them in really hard. But this one seems to be, it seems to fit in all right. So I'm gonna have to go underneath that, isn't it? Yeah. See, this one won't even fit in. I'm pressing that down, but it's not going in. Right, hang on a second. Where's my tweezers? Right, that's going to have to be folded over eventually anyways, so I'll go ahead and do that now. Just so it's out the way. What's that there? Little random piece of Kaplan tape for some reason. Right, I'll just fold that out the way for now. Just so I can see what I'm doing here. Right, can I get this in now? Is it going to let us put this in? No, it's not. Okay. Right, well, if it doesn't work, get the file out and file it down a little bit. I'll just do this off camera because it'll just be a lot easier. Just file this down a tiny bit. Even if it's just like, you know, a fraction of a millimeter, it'll probably be enough to get it in. Right. See how that works. Yeah, that definitely looks better. There we go. Much better. So, that's in. That side's in, I should say. Gotta get this side in now. Now, I don't know if this is like the same width all the way around, but I'm gonna try and squeeze it in. Get that hair off. It's quite hard to see what I'm doing here. Can I squeeze this in here? I don't know if I can. Well, that's tight. What I might wind up doing is I might just cut a small piece off, stick it in, and cut another small piece off and stick it in down here. Because I don't think I'm going to get the entirety of this squeezed in there. It doesn't look like it anyways. I mean, I can fit it there, and it's, you know, it's in. But I don't think I'm going to fit it. Oh, I don't know, maybe I will, I don't know. It might just take some elbow grease to get it in. I don't think that's going to fit. Alright. I think for now what I'll do is I'll just connect it up and I'll test it and I'll see what the centering's like on it. If it looks alright, then I'll just put a piece off of this and just, you know, just wedge it in there and that'll work. Right, buttons, stuff like that, I'm not bothered about that right now. I just need this first. Comes with a couple of pieces of wire. I actually haven't checked to see if this is a 32 or a 40 pin board. It is a 40 pin board, which is a good thing because The 32-pin boards require you to fold the cable in all sorts of weird ways, and I don't really like doing that, as I'm sure most people probably don't. Okay. Get this connected up. Like so. We'll go on like that. This is always the fun part, when you get this cable into here. Go. Like that. I need to put the back on. Actually, you know what? I should probably. No, I'll not bother. Right, I need some batteries now. Do I have batteries anyway? Yes, I do. I didn't put the power button back in. Nice. I can't actually see where the power button is. Well, I know where it is, but... Oh, I see it. Okay. Okay. As you can clearly see, that is not anywhere near centered. Oh. We've lost power. I'm guessing it's a dodgy battery contact. Or maybe the batteries are dead. There we go. Yeah, you see, now that I've got that in, that screen doesn't go any further over than that. And that is nowhere near centered. So, we're gonna have to figure a way to get this centered. Now, what I would usually do is I would usually put this into the back housing like this. Put the batteries in. Oops. Would help if I put them in the right way. Of course. So, and then what I can do is I can kind of just play around with this, and I can put the screen inside like that, and now I can play around with it. See, that's getting closer now to being centered, but it's still not perfect. Actually, you know, looking at it, I feel like I might need to trim some of the actual like this, trim some of this off. I'm kind of feeling like I might have to do that. Where's the lens? Let's have a look. So if the lens is in, how much do we have to play with? Yeah, there's a bit of space to play with. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I'm gonna have to trim the shell a little bit, fit this in. In case you can't tell, I've never actually installed one of these kits in an OEM shell before. It's always been, you know, an aftermarket shell. So yeah, I feel like we're gonna have to trim this shell a bit. Okay, what would be the best way to go about doing that then? Probably a craft knife, I think. Turn that off now. So, actually, I'll move that out of the way. So I feel like the best way to do this is probably going to be to just carve it, carve it down like that. Whatever way works, I guess, eh? Right, this may be a bit hard for you to see, but I'm just kind of trying to do this the best of my ability. It's not going to be perfect, but you're not going to see it at the end of the day, so it doesn't really matter. That might have been a bit too much there. That might be enough along the bottom. Yeah, I feel like that's probably enough along the bottom. That bit nearly shot me in the eye. It's alright. Um, well, I didn't intend for this to take this long, but oh well. You never know what's going to happen. feel free to skip the video if you don't want to see me doing this, because I have no idea how long this is going to take. Now, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to take any off the bottom because... Sorry, not the bottom, the top. Because the top it's already very close to the adhesive that's stuck down. And I can't really do anything about that now because it's already stuck there. Let's get rid of that. Right, let's clean up some of this crap. I'm going to be picking bits of this stuff up for weeks now. Hey. Yeah, that's got to be the most fun part of doing this. Get rid of that. In fact, you know what? I think what I'll do is I will crack open a can of Coke. Oh, that hit the spot. Right. Hopefully we should get a better result this time. Get that little piece out the corner there. As you can see, it's not perfect. You know, the lines are not exactly straight, but I could go in with a file and, you know, file it down, but it's not really worth it. What I will do actually though, now that I'm thinking about it, give me a second. I'm going to do this because I've noticed on previous mods like this that I've done, once it's all installed and you've got the screen in, what I've found is you can always see these parts here, like the inside of the plastic here, what's been cut. Excuse me. You can always see these parts here, and it always kind of like, I don't know, it annoys me. So I feel like if I was to go in with a Sharpie and colour this in black, maybe you won't see it as much. I don't know if this is going to look good or not, but anything's worth a try, right? It's gonna look better than being, you know, all put up and whatnot. Being able to see it all cut and stuff. I've had this Sharpie for like God knows how long. Probably at least 10 years, and it still works perfectly fine. Okay. Well, we'll see what this looks like once I get it all installed. Ideally, what I need to do is I need to get the lens installed. I need to get the lens installed so that I can get the screen actually lined up properly. So I think I'll go ahead and do that now. Actually, what I'll do first is, since I have a Q-tip that I was using, I'm going to go ahead and just give the inside of this bezel a wipe. Just, finger grease and all that stuff. Just to make sure the lens actually sticks properly. Bits of dust and haze and things like that. Oops. No, it's fine. Yeah, that looks good. Now that that's clean, I'm going to go ahead and install this lens. Normally I wouldn't do the lens now, but I want to get the screen centered, and the only way I can really do that reliably is with the lens in place. Of course, none of this would be necessary if I was using a pre-cut shell. It would all just, for the most part, fit together. But since I'm doing this DIY style on an OEM shell, there's a bit of trial and error involved. I'm trying to get this bit off. This will probably work better. I don't understand why there's multiple layers to this part. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Whatever. Oops. Now, before I put this on, I want to make sure that it's somewhat centered, because these things never really fit in properly. Get rid of that. Well, this one actually fits alright, to be honest. I like it. It actually looks quite good. Now, if you look, this is what I was saying before. The insides of the purple plastic, the inside part there. Now that it's black, you're probably not going to see that, or at least you shouldn't. Yeah, I'm still not convinced that it's going to be very centered, but there's only one way to find out, and that is to give it a test. So we'll turn that on. See how this lines up. No, that doesn't look very centered to me. Not very centered at all. Now, the only other thing I can think of trying is to take some of this off here, but that's not going to be very easy to do at all. I can't even turn this off. There we go. The only thing I can think of doing really is to take some off of here. Can't think of a reliable way to do that though, other than just to hack at it with this knife, which is probably not going to work out very well, but we'll see. Still got the lens on as well, which is not really ideal. I have to give that a clean once I'm done. No. Just to avoid getting as many finger marks on it as possible. See how well this goes. This is a good point. This is probably why it's a good, a good idea to get a pre-cut shell. Cutting this is not fun at all. But now is, am I going to be able to get all these shavings out? Where's my tweezers? I do apologise if I go quiet for a bit. I'm just kind of, just concentrating on getting as much of this done as possible. I don't want this video to go on for, hours. Let's see, how are we doing there? Looking better. Try and get as much material out as possible. Can you imagine how much time this is going to take if I hadn't have pre-cut the shell to begin with before I started the video? I would have been here a lot longer doing this. Right, I think I'll take a tiny bit more material from here. Okay, right, we'll see how that goes. See how that works. See if I can get some of this crap tidied up. So I'm probably going to need to take a bit more off, but yeah, you just take a bit and then you test and you take it. You don't want to take too much, you know what I mean? It's better to take too little than too much. Actually, you know what it is? It's taking too long, I've got a better idea. This little brush always comes in handy. These are handy, these little brushes, just to get dust and things like that off of your desk. And plastic shavings, evidently. Go. Now they're all over me instead of the desk. Quick drink of Coke here. Okay. Right then, let's put the lens back on. I don't really want to touch the lens with my fingers for obvious reasons, but I think at this point it's unavoidable. Let's see how this goes. Now, it doesn't feel like it's moved at all, but I know why. It's something I forgot to check before I started, and it is, the lens is still on, it's this bit in the top corner here. This little bit in the top corner here always seems to stick out slightly more. I don't know why, but if you just cut that away, just a little bit of it, not too much, like say, you know, a couple of millimeters. Should probably use two hands for that. Just, you know, about maybe that much. You don't want to cut the whole lot because this part here is the support for the trigger button. If you cut this entire piece out here, then your trigger button isn't going to work properly. So you only really want to cut just a little piece like that. If you need to cut it at all, sometimes you might not need to cut it, but it looks like I'm going to need to. Now, I don't know if that's enough. Where's the knife? There it is. I'll just go in trim that up a little bit. The screen. Okay. Let's see if that's enough. Getting there. Still not quite, but definitely getting there. Still a little bit too far to the right. So what I'm noticing is at the bottom, it's over to the left enough for my liking at the bottom, but at the top it's still not moving enough. So I think what I'll do is, first of all, I'll turn this off. I'll turn this off and then I will disconnect the screen. Find out what's going on. So I can see at the bottom, it moves over enough because of this bit that's cut away here. I think it's just a case of needing to shave a bit more off, really. Yeah. Just need a bit more shaved off. And then we should be good. So I could see when I was testing it there that I need to take a bit more off the middle here. If I can just do that all the way along, you know, just take a chunk off like that, that should be good enough to get it where I want it to be. Yeah, definitely getting there. Slowly but surely. Right, there's enough off in that corner. And I think there's enough off there now. Just realise I'm doing this with the screen lens on. I'm going to have to clean that up. That's fine, I can clean the screen lens, that's no problem. Get rid of that. Okay, actually I know what I'll do. I'll just go in there with the brush, get out what I can. Right, I'm hoping that's enough. What I want to do as well though first, where's my knife gone? There it is. What I want to do first though is take a little bit more off of this corner here. Because I'm not fully convinced that this isn't getting in the way either. So we'll just take a little bit more material off of there. Like that. I am covered in plastic shavings. Alright. Let's see how this works then. See how this goes. Hopefully we'll get a better result this time. To reconnect the screen. So the screen, I'm just trying to... yes, the screen goes like that. Right. Alright, so it's still not moving over. Let's see what's going on. Where's it getting stuck? Is it even getting stuck? That's what I want to know. Let's put the plastic bits in. That's an interesting point. Does this bit fit in here now? It's going to be hard to get it in. It looks like it does. Yes, it does. So that fits in there now. That screen is still not really centered in my... It's better. It's not perfect, but the entire screen is now in frame. Oh. It's a short out there a bit, I think. But yeah, that's the screen is now fully in frame. It's just not perfectly centered, which is... it's alright, I mean... it's only a millimeter off, I would say. It's slightly more over on the left here than it is on the right. But I mean, if I was to put a game in and test it, it would be fine. So I think for the sake of this video, I'll go with the way it is for now. It definitely looks like it should be fine. I'm going to disconnect the screen, just so I don't damage anything. Yeah, because now I need to make sure there's no dust under the screen. There isn't much dust there, but there is a little bit. I think I'm going to need to, I have a cloth somewhere, which good luck finding it on its desk in its current state. There it is. Oops. Knocked me light a little bit there. So this is just a, a microfiber cloth used for cleaning glasses. I'm just going to use this to wipe down the screen. The screen lens, sorry. Just to make sure there's no dust. Is that hair on the other side? No, it's not. Problem with using the problem with using isopropyl alcohol though is it's really bad for leaving streaks. So once you've cleaned it with the cloth, you've kind of got to go in just with the cloth on its own and give it another wipe down. Otherwise, you're just going to end up with, yeah, you can see them clearly there, the streaks. You do not want those. You definitely don't want those. I'm just doing this off camera here. I should really get it back in frame. I say that as I'm moving out frame again. Okay, that looks pretty clean to me. Yeah, that's good enough for me. And there's a little hair in the corner there, which I'm going to get rid of. Other than that, I think I may just go ahead and stick this down. Should I stick it down or not? No, I won't. Because I know what my look is like, I'll end up with dust under it or something else. So I'll not stick it down. I will, however, go ahead and line this up, get this put in. Where's my pliers? Not pliers. Tweezers gone. I get the feeling I've put that in the wrong way. Let's try it that way. That's better. Felt like it fit better, but it's not going in. Come on, I've just had you in. Why are you being like this? There we go. Got it eventually. Now, I want the screen as low down as possible. I think is like that. Should be lined up about as good as I can get it. There's a lot of streaks there on the inside I can see that I didn't see before. Do I really want to leave those there? No, I don't. No, I certainly do not. So all that'll do is annoy me. Okay, so I think we'll go in with the tweezers and just give it a bit of a fine white in the corners. Okay, I think that's about as good as I'm gonna get that. Yep. Another hair. Did I get it? No, I didn't. Ah, there we go. Got it that time. Okay, that's good enough. Well, that's not going to work that way, is it? Drop the screen in. Drop that in there. If I can. This is not fun to get in, this little plastic bit. Wow, it's really in there, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Didn't sound good, did it? Get that thing out. There we go. Let's see if I can get this in properly this time. Ah, there we go, that's better. Yeah, it's much easier to get it in from the top there. Right then, hopefully that's it. We shall see. We shall see. Let's get this out of here. There is one other thing I want to do before I put this together, and that is, when I get a hold of it, this thing. This is the GBA power cleaner from Helder, as you can see on the back of the PCB there. That is conveniently not focusing. There we go. Yeah, these are by Helder. Actually, this mod was originally discovered by Retro6, based in the UK, where I am. Helder just made it into a convenient little PCB that you can solder straight to the board. So I'm going to put that on because I conveniently have a bunch of them. So I figured, why not take the opportunity to put one on since I'm in the middle of doing the mod anyways. I'm gonna get another drink of Coke. Right, this should be fairly straightforward. Most things are when it comes to soldering. Soldering iron is warmed up. Now, this just installs like so. You basically just solder it to the side of these capacitors, yeah. Tell you what I'll do, I'll bring you in a bit closer. Oh, it's a bit too far. There we go. Yep, so basically this just solders to the sides of these capacitors here. And there's one over here as well, without burning my finger preferably. Yep. So we'll go ahead and do this. This should only take a couple of seconds if I do it properly. If being the main word there. Make sure my iron's clean first. I think that's on. It looks like it is, yeah. Now, it's great once you get one soldered, because then, excuse me, you've got it in place. The rest should just fall into place, basically. Like so. Yeah, this couldn't be any simpler, really. You know, provided you're half decent at soldering. Some people aren't, I know that. That's not exactly flat, which isn't helpful. I'm not in the way here, am I? No, I'm not. Good. Probably gonna have to hold that down. There we go. And that's it. That's the mod done. I'm gonna need a new wire sponge, I think. Yeah, that's basically all there is to it. That's not gonna focus, is it? No, I'll tell you what. Zoom that out. Then I can bring it up. Yep, that's it. That's all there is to it. Okay. Now I can go ahead and put it all together. Right. Buttons first, I guess. I'm going to have to take the cable out of the board first, I think. Yeah. Okay, so buttons. Buttons in first. I'm just going to leave, I mean, if you've watched this entire video, thanks. It's nice to have the support. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave the entire video intact and upload it as is, just so you can, you get an idea of what the full process is like. I don't want to give a false impression that this is straightforward. It is when you use an aftermarket shell that's pre-cut, but if you're using an OEM shell, then it's not as straightforward as you might think. And that's what I want to kind of convey in this video, how it does take a bit of work to get this to, to get it to look right. If you want it done, properly and you want it to look right, it does take a bit of work. So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to convey in this video, which is why I'm going to leave it intact. I'm not going to like cut any, parts of it out. So I'm going to get these buttons in, hopefully. There we go. Actually, no, I'll put them in last, because the ribbon cable's got to go on first. Yeah, I can do that now, actually. Let me try and get, there we go, that's it. Cable looks a bit twisted, but that's just because of how close it is to this side. It's fine. Get these buttons in now. There we go. And buttons, yeah. I think that, oh yes, that's one thing I always forget is the light pipe for the LED. I almost always forget to put this in. And it goes in there like that. I don't know how many times I've assembled a Game Boy Advance, forgot to put the light pipe in, and then had to, disassemble the entire thing again. That is annoying. Right, brightness controls. So, I've seen a lot of people have problems with the brightness controls, and it's really not that hard. I mean, if you're using a temperature controlled iron, you don't have to have it turned up high at all. I've seen people using like 400 degrees, and and they touch it for like 3 or 4 seconds and they pull the pad off the ribbon cable. You don't need to use temperatures that high. 300 is high enough, more than high enough for something like. In fact, my iron at the moment is on 350, so I'm just going to turn it down. I'm going to turn it down to 300 because you do not need to have it any higher than 300 if it's if you've got a decent quality iron. Where did I put my solder? There it is. But yeah, I mean, 300 degrees is more than enough. Touch it. That's it. Done. Touch. Done. Touch. Done. Touch. Done. That's literally all there is to it. You don't even need flux. Bit of solder, temperature controlled iron. That's literally all you need. It is not difficult in the slightest. Now, this is what I always have problems with. They give you 3 wires, right? 1, 2, 3. They give you 3 wires, but I've just realised you can't see that because it's zoomed in. But yeah, they give you 3 wires, but there's 4 connections. I guess I'll just have to half one of the wires or something, I guess, yeah. Anyways, you want a wire for, in fact, I'll start with L down here. I'll do it this way. So there's 1. I'm not happy with that. I don't think these wires are even tinned. I'm going to tin this wire myself. Not even in the shop there. Yeah, I'm going to tin this wire myself because I'm not convinced they're even tinned properly. Now it's tinned. I wasn't really getting a good joint. That's better. Would be if it didn't have a little point on it. There we go, that's better. Double check the wire's tinned properly. Right, so that's for select and it's for ground. So I'm just going to go ahead and solder all these on. And I'm just gonna use a piece of my own wire for ground. What if I knew where the end of it was? This is brand new wire, I haven't actually used this yet. This is just enameled wire. You could just burn the enamel off with the soldering iron. Go ahead and cut that off there. Tin this up. There we go. Okay, so the way I like to keep track of which wire, these 3 wires are all, the same length and stuff. So the way I like to keep track of what's what is I like to just put bends in the end of them like that. Well, you can't actually see because I'm zoomed in. I'll zoom out. Yeah, I'm still getting the hang of this, YouTube thing. Anyways, yeah, I like to bend the end of the wire like that. For L. For R, I'll bend it slightly further up. And then obviously select doesn't have a bend at all. So L is the short bend, which you can't see, hang on. L is the short bend, R is the long bend, select isn't bend at all. That way when I put the circuit board in, the motherboard, I know which wire is which when I come to solder them in. Right, everything's in, yes, slide pipes in, yep. Yes. Let's put this in as well. Now, I believe that is in properly, yeah. Yeah, I've got my fingers all over the screen and all. I can clean that up, that's fine. Ah, yes. I've just realised. Select is on this side of the board. So I'm going to have to solder that on first. Now select, I believe select is one of these vias down here, or one of these test points. I think it's this one, but I'm not sure, so I'm going to double check it. Easiest possible way is to use a multimeter. Now, you're probably not going to be able to hear this because of the filter on my microphone, but I'll bring it in view so you can see. But I believe select is, hang on, which part's ground? Right, that's ground there. Right, test point 2, that is select. So that's where we need to solder to. Simple enough. Test point 2. Let's get some solder on that test point. I need to, well, firstly I need to cut this wire short. Now, if I remember rightly, select is the one without the bend in it, which is this one. So, the motherboard will go on like that. So if I flip it over like this, I need to come to here. Right, so select this wire here. Get this one out of the way. Now it doesn't need to be super long. I can cut it to about there, I would say. These snips are absolute crap. Now, can I burn this off with solder, or is it going to be awkward? Let's see. No, it should be fine. Cool. There we go. Let's select soldered. So now I can just go ahead and put the motherboard in. Right, I don't want the wire to be sticking out there. Where's my tweezers gone? Oh, where have I put my tweezers? Good question, where have I put my tweezers? Ah, there they are. So, I don't want this wire out here like this, so I'm going to try and feed it over. It's going to be easier if I lift the motherboard up first, I think. I want it under there like that. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so... Well, that's annoying. Come on. There we go. Right. Now, I should be able to just screw this down now. Where is my screwdriver? There it is. Are these even the right screws? Yes, they are. Okay. For a moment there, I wasn't sure they were the right screws. Bigger screwdriver than that, I think. That is the wrong hole. Silly me. Right. Okay, that ground wire is managed to get itself wedged under there somehow. You got love wires, haven't you? Gotta love wires. There we go. Okay. So, ground. Ground is simple. You can just take ground to anywhere really. I like to use one of these. This is for the, the trigger. I like to use this ground point. Of course, double check to make sure it is ground, which it is. So what I'll do is, I'll just route it round here like this, and then cut it to size. Like that. Stop wiggling. There we go. And then I'll just burn off the enamel with some solder. Put a bit of solder on there, just to tin it up. I'm going to turn my iron up a bit since it's a ground point. There we go. Now you have to be sure, you have to make sure to keep this wire out of the way of this here, because that's a screw post, and you don't want the wire to get jammed under a screw post. So just be sure to sort of route it around it. Route the wire around it. I'm going to use these tweezers just to hold this while I solder it in. Like so. And I'm happy with how that's routed, so I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to leave it where it is. 2 wires left. I'm going to take a quick drink of Coke. We'll get these wires soldered in place. So the small bend is L, which this is turned round, so this side will be L. Now, these points are ground points. So these smaller points here will be the signal connections. So you want to solder your L wire to one of these 2 points. Now, since this is obviously far too long, I'm going to route it round to here. Then I'm going to snip it short, like so. Tin it up. So. And attach it just like that. And then that wire can just be routed like that. And that's fine where it is. This one, which is R, can be routed in the same place over this way. You can pretty much just route this the same way you routed the ground wire, which is like round here like this. And then just snip it short, like so. Tin this up. There we go. And then you can just route this wire the same way you routed your ground wire. Just take it round there like that. That'll be fine where it is. Let's go ahead and put the wire in, the cable. It's going to be a little difficult because of the angle that the cable's on. And obviously that little white wire wants to get in the way. Because why not? Oh. And just double check, make sure your wires are routed properly. The last thing you want is wires getting caught under screw posts and things like that. It's not fun. Especially when you think you're finished and you close it all up and then you find out that something's caught or isn't working properly, or something isn't right. It's not what you want to find out after you've closed it all up. Okay, I think that's it. I mean, there's only one way to find out, right? And that is to test it. So, just clean up some of that mess. Right then, we'll get the back on. Not about putting the buttons on first, obviously. What we got here? R. So R goes here, like so. L goes there. We have a wire problem. I believe that is the select wire that's currently in the way. Let me see if I can route that back inside there. As long as it's not in the way of the button, it'll be fine. There we go. So that's the buttons in. Once we've got them on, we can get the back on. No, we can't, because we need a power button. That's one other thing I always do as well. I always forget to put the power button back. This wire is going to annoy me. It won't stay down. There we go. Right. Ignore the finger marks on the screen for now. They'll get cleaned off. I can hear something rattling around inside. Please don't be a piece of plastic. Whatever, I can check that out later. For now, I just want to make sure it works. And it does. It looks good. It looks pretty central. It's gone off again. Yeah, I think the battery contacts are a little dirty. I can fix that. Yeah, we got some dirty battery contacts. That's okay. Let's throw a game in. Everything looks fine. Except for the finger marks on the screen, of course. That looks pretty good to me. You can see the entirety of the screen. There's no bits cut off in the corners or anything. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So, that's pretty much it. It's done. I just need to go and clean them contacts, get that working, screw it back together. And yeah, that's it. Done. So, if you've watched the entire video, great. Thank you very much. But I'm afraid that is the end of this boring video. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.